Hello, hi, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to part 2 of the Unhinged Madness, where I got a wild hair up my you-know-what and decided to gather every scrap of makeup that I own to this day and go through it to do a final massive purge of this whole no-buy experience. At the end of this purge, I have no doubt that my collection will still be large and I will still have plenty to work through before I can purchase anything per my no-buy rules. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This is not necessarily the first impression that I would have hoped to meet your acquaintance, but here we are. And I have some recycling in the background and I'm on the floor finishing my coffee, hanging out with Frank, and just powering through this. So in the first video, we covered what was in my reference bin and all of the palettes that were in my closet. What I'm hoping we can cover now is everything else that was in my closet. So I'm going to shift you around and you're going to see everything in and directly touching the gray bin is what's in my vanity in my bedroom currently. And then everything laid out on the floor is what is currently in my office closet right here. And I would love to get to a point where I'm not storing anything in the office closet other than my makeup museum box and my reference bin. All right, so this is what is currently in my closet. And this is what is currently in my vanity. This is also in my closet and we will get there. To get through this, let's talk about the last bit of eyeshadow that was being stored in my closet. I have two Dose of Colors palette. One is Cutting Edge and the other is Smoky Soiree. Cutting Edge is right there. And Smoky Soiree is here. Very tempted to depot these because I do love this formula and I do love these shadows and shades. It's just that they're getting lost in this palette and they're a round pan. So I'm going to include these with the single eyeshadows that we talked about that we need to have makeup playtime with and figure out what we're gonna do there. And the same goes for my Dose of Color singles. I got these when they were very cheap. I don't even know if they're still making these, but these are absolutely gorgeous shimmer shades and some of them are quite wearable, and I have a couple of videos where I've highlighted using these. They're just so pretty. And again, they're getting lost in the sauce because they're in this packaging. So I would love to depot these so that I can start making my own DIY palettes. All right, now let's get into base products. Right away, I will be keeping the backup I have of my Rose Ink Concealer and then the backups I have of MAC Fix Plus. So those are going to go into my vanity. And just to get this out of the way, let's talk about brows. I have the Got To Be Glued gel. I'm actually going to keep this and I'm going to put it in my bathroom because I think this might be better for me to use for flyaways and things because I don't wear this type of product in my brow. And if it doesn't work out in my bathroom, I will just be rehoming that. The lip tinted, I will try to use this up. I'll hang on to it and try to use it up. I just prefer a tinted brow gel and this isn't tinted. Literally the only reason why. And then I have this Benefit pencil that is haunting me. I've had it for so long and I've used so much of it and I will keep it around, but I could see myself giving in and getting rid of this pencil and just allowing that for myself, but we shall see. Yeah, I'll keep these and make myself use them up. The NYX pen I like to keep because I don't always wear this type of brow, but it does come in handy if I do want something wispy. And it's small, so I'll keep it around, but that's one that we probably should revisit at the end of the year. And then my e.l.f. Bite Size Brow Palette. I do really like this. The powders are really nice if I want a powder brow. I've used quite a bit of the tinted wax, and then I haven't really touched a clear wax, which is kind of what I'm getting at with those clear waxes. I just prefer something with a tint. I will keep this around because it is nice when I want to use a powder, but I need to figure out, I need to have a strong talk with myself about if I'm going to be opening any new products or if I'm going to make myself get through these. And that's something that I'm just gonna have to think about as we move through the rest of this discussion. But then truly moving on to base, I have a Lawless Summer Skin. This is a bronzer stick and it's not quite the shade that I love. So I might actually see if anyone in my life wants this, because it's just not getting a lot of use right now. Same with the House Labs powder. I now have 2 e.l.f. loose powders and a Westman Atelier powder to get through, and the Westman Atelier powder I had previous to the one I have now took quite a long time to get through. So I am confident that even though I'm getting rid of this, I still don't know that I'll be buying powder this year. So happy for someone else to get a try. I'm just actually going to throw out the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. Before I shook it, it was about down here. This is a long and sordid past on my channel. I used to wear one shade. It oxidizes over the course of a year. I switched to a new shade, and now it's just not sitting on my skin the way that it used to and that I like. It also, the first one I didn't have this issue with, but I now understand why everyone complained about the pump, because it is an absolute mess, and every once in a while I would clean this. And I think where I'm at with makeup, I'm going to hang on to this and put it up against what's in my vanity and see if there's room to whittle down more, because this will be first to go for sure. I'm hesitating because the reason I love it so much is it's lightweight and it has a good finish when it was working with my skin, and I didn't feel it on my skin like I do a lot of other foundations, so that is why. Then let's talk about tinted SPF. I'm going to keep the Supergoop, and I'm going to pass along the CL. It's just a preference of formula and also delivery system, a squeeze tube versus a dropper. It's not bad. In the CL, I wore the shade 01 Ivory. It was a really good match for me if you're a skin twin. And in the Supergoop, I have 10N. I also love that Supergoop prints the expiration date, and so does CL, because it is SPF. The CL also expires in May, and this one expires in November of next year, so I'm going to have a better chance of getting through this than this one. And I like this one quite a bit, so we'll rehome the CL and keep this one. Then last two, the Natasha Denona Powder Foundation needs to go in my play around with pile, so that's where that's going to go. And then the Rare Beauty, I was gifted this through someone else's declutter. It's probably about down to here. I have the shade Light, and I really do love this. And I love that it's a cooling wand on the end. Good shade match, but I'm not reaching for this. And I was just gifted a re-up of the Beautypie Under Eye Brightener, which is essentially the same thing. And I love that one, so I do think I'm going to toss this one because it is quite old, and I don't feel right passing it to someone, but this is a very lovely product. And if you're not a Beautypie member, as far as under eye correctors go, and I've tried a lot, this is the one that I would go with for sure. All right, and then I forgot a couple more single shadows. I have a Natasha Denona one right here, a few from Chaos Makeup. One of my favorites that broke from It's Belle Cosmetics, and then a Wet n Wild. This has been a go-to forever. This might actually be going in the museum because of that. But these will go in that singles discussion we're going to have. Then bronzers and highlighters. I have another Wow People here. This is actually the shade that I thought would be a better match. In the last video I said that, but I've had 2 of these shades and neither one of them are what I'm looking for, but the finish of these is fabulous. And I love these, and I know I'm going to find a good home. So this is one of the newer shades. This is Sun Glow, and this is Golden Hour. So you can see Golden Hour is much more red, and I thought this would be cooler and neutral, but it's still quite kind of on the red side, so they're not exactly what I'm looking for, but I have people in my life who will appreciate them. And same goes for Rare Beauty. I have videos on my channel of using this. This is Bright Side. It was supposed to be a little bit more neutral. It's just not my favorite. The formula is really nice on this, but the color is not my cup of tea, although I would prefer this formula and color-wise over the Merit. So now I'm wondering if I can just toss the Merit and keep the Rare Beauty in its place. And there is Rare Beauty. That's why I've been able to get away with the Merit, even though it's quite yellow and a little orange. It's light, like fair-wise, so it doesn't stand out too much, whereas this one, because it is more deep in color, it stands out a little bit more on the skin. But also swatching on your hand doesn't translate. But you know what, I have a Westman Atelier biscuit, so both of these are going to find new homes. If they're your color, both formulas are nice, The Rare Beauty is a little bit more of a soft finish, but I can find them better homes. All right, I have Phytosurgent's Mirrored Moonlight, and I have Fresh Fog. I'm going to keep Fresh Fog, and I'm going to find a home for Mirrored Moonlight because it's just not a shade that I reach for the most. And again, anytime I can spread the word on Phytosurgents, I will. All right, last but certainly not least, I have the House Labs Bronzer in level 2. Did they change the size of these too? It's not a brand that I keep up with. All right, looking at it swatched next to those, it's not as orange, you can see, but I don't know, it's still not the right tone. So again, I'm gonna find another home for that. All right, moving into blush. I have my Tasha Denona Puff Paints, and now that I'm downsizing quite a bit, I have no problem keeping these in my vanity. I talk about them in my other collection videos, so I'll hold on to those. My Finding Ferdinand, I do use the shade Latte, but the rest of these are all from Khakis 2 collabs. I will be keeping those, but putting them in the Makeup Museum because this was the first PR I ever got of like a full run of something in a full collection, and it's just kind of a big moment for me, and it felt really special. So I'm always grateful that I was considered for this because I am a smaller creator, and some of these I could see myself reaching for if I'm playing around with a look that I don't play with every day. So I'll be holding on to these. I have an e.l.f. bite-size eyeshadow palette. I'm going to pass this along. Okay, let's talk lips. My Queen Musea lipsticks, I love the packaging, I love the formula, and I love the shades, so those now will fit in my vanity, so those will go there. The Milani I'm going to pass along. I don't reach for them. I'm going to be very slim on bullet lipsticks. The Lawless, I absolutely love, but I want to do a reckoning of these and swatch these on my lips to figure out if I truly need all of them. The packaging is fabulous. I love the formula, and the shades are perfect if you're a skin twin. The whole range is quite muted in a way that's very good for people who prefer dustier colors and neutral colors. They don't lean too heavy each way. They're not super saturated. They're just a lovely everyday lip for someone if you struggle with finding what I just described. I do love these, but I do want to swatch them on my lips. We'll be keeping the Fenty Beauty Cream lip in, I think this is like something weird, like Super Boss or something. I have a video about fall berry lips. This is one of my favorites, so we're keeping that. Keeping the 3 Lawless Forget the Filler lip glosses. You can kind of see I'm making my way through these. I love these, and these are just more fall colors that I hadn't moved into my vanity yet, but I've freed up enough space that they will fit now. Then I have the Ole Henriksen Peptide Lip Treatments. I have 2 more. I think they're in my purse. The orange one, the original, and the Strawberry Sorbet, which are the 2 that I use the most. I don't really love the cocoa cream. We're going to smell these right now. Yeah, I never was really into the cocoa cream, so that one's going to go. Lingonberry Jam was my first and my very favorite, and is now officially a year old, but I'm going to be hanging on to that because I still love that one. And then the Blood Orange smells like basil, and if you know me, you know I love that. It's a blood orange spritz. There's something about it that's just not good to my nose, so we're gonna pass on that one too. Lips is where I'm gonna allow myself to pass on as much as I need to because I have an insane amount of lippies. All right, I have a clear gloss from Milani, which, because I thought I just didn't have like a clear gloss that I could top anything with, it does not smell great. I'm gonna see if that is true and I don't have a clear gloss, because it is good to have just to top any lip look. So I'll hold on to it, but then I haven't even opened this. It's from LA Girl. It's a holographic lip topper, and I have this to play around with, so I'm gonna keep it just for funsies. This brand that I was given, I think given by someone, it's an SPF 30 lip primer. It's not very good, and this brand is problematic, so goodbye. Merit lipstick in L'Avenue. I want to swatch this again and experience it, so it's going to go in the kind of reckoning need to revisit pile. Same with the 2 Linda Hallberg lip products that I have. One's kind of like a vinyl red lip, and then one I was hoping would be a faded clementine replacement in like a moisturizing slim lipstick, but I need to revisit those, so we'll put those over there. Then 3 that I'm not sure about are, 1, the Ami Collet lip gloss in, what shade are you? In the brown shade. I think there's only 1 brown shade. And then 2 of the Live Tinted lip hue glosses in Brilliant and Proud. I've gone through an entire Proud, and I think I just forgot that this existed, so I do want to put this one in my vanity. I need to feel this one on my lips again because I can't remember if you feel the glitter or not. And I want to try the Ami Collet again because I just haven't reached for it and I don't remember any thoughts around it. And then I have a Thrive Causemetics lipstick. This is in the shade Maya, which is a really nice berry. Perfect for this time of year. Again, I just hadn't moved it into my vanity because it wasn't time yet. So you can see there, like a red berry. And then we have a Milk lipstick that I was gifted via someone else's Declutter, and it is like a deep berry, and I need to reckon with that. So let's put that over there. And then I have a Hindash color fluid. The rest of them that I own, the other colors in, are in my vanity, but this is Boy Tears, and I just never really got on with this particular shade. But you know what? I'm going to put it in the reckoning so that we can figure out exactly what's going on with that. And then these are all eyeliners and lip liners. And I don't know what to do here. Because these last a long time typically, it's hard to just kind of like toss them, you know? So I'm gonna pull out what I know I want to keep. I know I'll keep all my Victoria Beckham. These are just the shades that I don't use as often, but I do want to put them in my vanity. My Linda Hallberg, I need to reckon with these because I don't remember enough about the formula if I want to keep them. However, I am going to go ahead and get rid of this off, like this beige shade, because I do have that in Victoria Beckham. And then a Beautypie lip liner. I'm just not a huge fan of that formula. And same with the Beautypie Kohl liner that I have. And then the 2 Kaleidos liners. I just have never used them and I don't plan on starting. The e.l.f. Cream Glide lip liner. This one is in what shade? It doesn't say. And then the Jennifer Coolidge collab. I think I'll keep... These both feel nice. We might have to do a lip liner reckoning, because I know for sure that I really love the Nude Venus from Pat McGrath, and I love the formula. And the same with the Victoria Beckham in 02. I do love the formula of the Fit Glow. And I do keep this About Face one around for coral lips because I do love that color and it's the only one I have. And again, I've used a decent amount of this one, Done Undone by Pat McGrath, so we'll keep those. And I just don't know how these fall into that. And they're a little deeper than I typically go, so actually I'm going to pass those along. And then the very last thing to cover that was in my office previously are all of these samples. And maybe I just leave it. Oh, there that is. I've been looking for this to take on trips. It's like a baby MAC Fix Plus, so I'm going to take that out. Put it in my travel kit. But I have an Urban Decay All-Nighter, which I don't use sprays like this. So actually, I think my niece will appreciate a deluxe sample of that. So let's put that over there. Oh, see, this is what happens when you're not organized. I have a tubing mascara and I just bought one. I am going to give this to someone. Don't hate me for that, but it's just simpler right now. I have FanFest from Benefit and Lash Idol from Lancome. I'll keep these because that will be easy and put in my vanity so that I can use those for my non-tubing formula. I have Luminous Silk in shade 2. I do want to try that. And I have House Labs in 100 Neutral and 040 Fair Neutral, which I do want to try, and then I have friends that I can give the deeper shades to. All Hours, I'm not really interested in that, so we'll see if someone else is. The Kulfi in Ice Berry, it's going to be too deep, so maybe I have someone that can use that. Freck Cheek Slime not interested. This is before I just stopped saying no to samples. There's a Sicily primer, and I do want to try that to see what the hype is about. I have a Gucci mascara, so let's pop that out, and we'll use that this year as regular mascara. Tom Ford. It has a porcelain one, so that could be something to try. RMS Beauty, yes, because I do want to try that. Smashbox Primerizer, I'll give it a shot. Why not? The Westman Atelier in Petal Lit and Biscuit. I have owned all of these at one point or another, so I can gift this to someone else to give it a shot, or just thought of this, I could keep it and use these for travel. Yeah, let's do that. I'll put it with my travel stuff. And then I have Vision Flush, which is one of my favorite products from Danessa Meyerk, so I will keep. Will I keep this? No, I'm not going to use these. Let's see if someone else wants to try the product. And then I've had this matte glitter for longer than I can say, but it's beautiful and it's there if I want to play around, so we'll put that in the play bin. And then I have these samples to try, so we'll put that in the needs testing. Actually, let's put the rest of the needs testing in here. All right, anytime I think I need ideas to film, I know that I have this stack of things that I need to figure out how I'm going to store for now. I have this stack of things that I need to go through, which I think there's also a couple lippies and the e.l.f. foundation on my desk that fall into this category that we need to test out. So those videos will be coming. And then in my makeup museum, we're adding a palette, a single shadow, a lip liner, and the box for the Dia de los Muertos because it's so beautiful. So that is the makeup museum. I will be moving these palettes to a drawer where I keep empty palettes and magnets and stuff for my single shadows. So that's where these will be living for now. And then my Salt New York palettes I'm going to move to my vanity so that I can start using those and building them out. So what we have done, don't mind my cleaning caddy. I like to pretend I'm a cleaning lady and walk around my house while I do deep cleans. Anyway, this is everything that's living in my vanity. This is still so much. And I think now that I know I'm bringing in this amount, I can kind of match it up against what I have and have an idea of what I'm doing so that I can hopefully bring that down even more. And I forgot to add this stack of palettes. So we're gonna have to go through all of this next, which I fully intend to do. I just showed you my museum. I also showed you what we need to work through. And then over here, this is what I'm going to be rehoming, which is so much. This is random trash. That's my pillow that says, "Mom, I am a rich man," that fell off of my chair. And so what is going into the garbage is this random stuff that is actual trash. And what I think is too old or not sanitary to pass along. I have 9 here, 10, and then the pans, which this is another reason why I want to move to refillable products, because look at that. That's so much more manageable in terms of like not filling an entire landfill full of this stuff, because this really stinks. And I apologize, I'm not throwing this out, it just needs a really good clean. But that said, thank you for going on this unhinged journey with me this afternoon. We're just on the ground of my office, and I really felt the need to do this, and I would like to potentially finish this with reviewing everything in my vanity, or it's something I can do on my own, and then we can do a vanity tour, and then we can do swatches, because I have a lot of thoughts that I want to get out here. First is, it's been hard for me to sit down and do swatches and like really get into the nitty-gritty of this no-buy the way that I want to, because I have too much stuff. And a second part of that is like, this is me being very vulnerable and just being over it and ready to share all of this with you, because I'm not proud of owning this much. And again, this has been years in the making, years and years, and gifts and swapping products with people and some PR now. It feels icky. It feels icky because it's not the consumer that I am. And what I mean by that is, like, when I think back to the purchases that mean a lot to me and that felt good are the things that I took time to research, the things that I really knew were a good fit for me, the brand ethos, the quality of the product, the experience with the product, the formula of the product, all of those things. And this goes beyond beauty, this goes into clothing. But I'm someone, one, who is autistic and has a special interest and goes 0 to 200 so fast. So fast. And is like, once I like it in one color, need to own the line. And that's something that I've been working on a lot in therapy the last year since I was diagnosed, is like, where's the balance? Because I really have gotten that feedback my entire life. It's either 0 or it's 500%. And so that's something I've been working on. But also, I feel like we all went through the ringer in COVID and we turned to coping skills that were easiest and available to us at that time. And there were a lot of things that went into that for me, like living in an apartment and having limited space. I'm in a house now, I quilt, I have room to spread out my creative endeavors in this house now. And I also have a lot more coping skills. And I've also done so much personal growth, like with my autism diagnosis and with other areas in my life that I don't share about on my channel. I've had massive growth. And a lot of that was really hard. And this was an easy escape, whether it was me watching YouTube, whether it was me purchasing something or sitting down and playing and painting my face. Like, that was my number one important escape. And couple that with me coming onto YouTube in, I always get this mixed up, 2021 or 2022. I think 2022. I got caught in the algorithm mindset of it all, where it was like, all right, there's a few different paths you can take when you become a beauty creator, which is you do reviews and you have exhaustive knowledge on all of the products and you showcase them and you make sure you get the new review up in a time where it's going to hit the search engine in a way that people are going to find you, your channel is going to grow. Or you're someone who does creative looks, and in order to do creative looks, you have to have all these things and people want certain looks that are trendy at the time. And it just feels like I've mentioned this in a couple of videos, and we're going to get very, very blunt, or not blunt, but transparent here. In the beauty space, it's easy to get caught into that because you're sold all these ways that you can be successful on social media. And if you come into being on social media as a creator, and the first and foremost thing that you want is the numbers and the success and the money, yes, it's going to be impactful for you to follow what fits the algorithm and what these platforms are rewarding. And that ties into the conversation we had earlier on my channel, which is like black and white thinking. And that feeds the algorithm, and that it's very clear to the algorithm and to AI what the sentiment is when it's stronger. And I struggled so hard in that, and that's what has led to this amassing of this collection. And it feels good to rip the band-aid off and just be brutally honest with you to show you this, because it has felt very shameful. And it felt shameful because I did turn my back on who I was as a consumer, but I also turned my back on why I started this channel in the beginning. And I struggled so much this last year of like not wanting to post, not wanting to film. One, because I was going through a lot coming off of SSRIs and I had a lot of brain fog, but then also because I was putting so much pressure on myself to like plan out the videos and have a script and have the talking points, and getting lost of like, all right, well, if I'm not buying new products, what am I going to do? And I have to follow this way of doing a no buy because that's what's been successful before, and all this stuff. And what it boils down to, and I was talking about this in therapy, which is another reason I had a wild hair up my butt to do this, which is making that video post-election really showed me that I know my values and I accept my values and I accept who I am as a person, and my values and my approach definitely my approach a little bit more than my values, because I think a lot of people share my values, even the ones who are following kind of the formula of being successful on YouTube. But my approach is not going to be the same. And I set out on YouTube to carve out my own space and to do it my way and the way that I enjoyed doing it. And making that video was reaffirming to you who I am as a creator and what I stand for. But while I was editing that and watching it back, it was like, hell yeah, that's who I am. And it doesn't look like other YouTubers, and it's not going to follow a formula. But I wish that the beauty community as a whole would look into that a little bit more, because I've mentioned before that we had an opportunity for the new generation of beauty YouTubers to come in and do it a little bit differently. And it feels very reflective of like where we're at as a society too, that like no one's challenging the status quo that ends up being harmful, if that makes sense. Like the way these algorithms drive things, like instead of trying to forge a new path and do our own thing and be individual and unique, we're all just kind of like saying okay to these algorithms. And I see it in trends, I see it in like color analysis, I see it all over the place. It's like, just fall in line, do this thing because that's what's going to give you the sweet reward and the success and the money and all of that stuff that you want. But there's no integrity in that to me. And it's also, it's disheartening to not see a lot of creators kind of forge their own path. And even the ones that think they're forging their own path, it's like, none of it is just, the authenticity feels gone. And I don't think that some people are not being authentic when they're following trends. I think they truly enjoy following trends, and there is something to be said for that. But to not be able to take a step back and be like, well, why are we following a trend? And why do we think that color analysis is better? Or why do we think that quiet luxury is trending? And instead of like spending time with it, we're just like, yep, that sounds good. Give me 500 shades that are perfect to my exact skin tone down to the very minute detail. Like, at what point are we on here just to have fun and to connect with people and to not be like divisive, black and white thinking? Like, I'm not here to get like a charged emotion out of you. I'm here to connect with other humans and share something that I'm extremely passionate about and I love, but in a way that's still healthy. And that's why it's nice to feel the passion of talking about makeup and the beauty community as a whole come back, but it doesn't feel unhealthy anymore because I've branched out into the other areas where I enjoy things, which is reading, which is quilting, journaling, and building out the other parts of my creative life specifically and hobbies, that it doesn't feel like there's pressure. There's not pressure to fall in line to what the algorithms or the beauty community wants. There's not pressure to go out and spend money on things that are like, will I like it? I don't know, but it's for a video. Like, that makes no sense to me. And I'm just rambling, and I just wanted to get all of this off my chest. So I hope it's okay. Like, I just want to be able to come on here again and not have a script and a plan and have to be this polished professional, because that's not why I joined YouTube, and that's not why I fell in love with YouTube when I started watching it in 2009. So I hope the unhinged wildness is all right, and I hope you're having a good one. This is it for part 2. TBD on how we're going to handle what's in my vanity, but we will definitely follow up on that. So I hope you're having a good one. I will see you in the next one. Oh, I could be nuts for putting all of this on the internet, but you are so amazing for being here, and I appreciate you. I want to add that, and Frank and I will see you in the next one. All right, bye.